a question.
Please,
Now,
please.
Alan said that China is the second largest solar installed. That is very true. But India uses double. The share of solar energy in use. India is double of China. We use 8%. China is only 4%. So just throwing out solar cells there doesn't make any, because at the end of the day, how much of that energy are you using? China has 3 times the size of India in installation, but what is the use? It is efficient use of resources also matters a lot when it comes to China. That's one point. But the main one, Dr. Swamy, I wanted to talk was when Nehru, back when Dalai Lama came to India through Arunachal Pradesh.
Yes.
That time he said that we should not be worried about China. So I'll just read in verbatim what he wrote in a note to the G-Pat Sadi at that time. He's saying that he said the cable shows the Indian Prime Minister did not realize Indian common men's strong sentiments for the Tibetan people soon after the Dalai Lama had been forced to leave his homeland to take refuge in India. Nehru believed that the people's government in Beijing could only do good, in quotes, even in a painful manner, to the common man in Tibet.
May I ask you? Yeah.
Lack of understanding.
No. It is hypocrisy. 1955, Dalai Lama and Panchen Lama came to India. And they came official as delegates for a cultural conference. Dalai Lama told Nehru, I don't want to sign this agreement that the Chinese are asking, where they want me to declare that Tibet will be part of China. Let me stay here. And what Nehru told him, it is good for you if you go there. If you are here, we can't do anything for you. And then the same Nehru calls them in 1959. Says, yes, come. Why? Because at that time, the Americans and the Russians, Soviets, were both against China. And they were using Indian territory to launch Khampas into Tibet. In fact, Khampas were trained in Denver, Colorado, which looks like Tibet. You've been to Denver, Colorado. It's written. There's a book which has been published. This was told to me by the then ambassador Moynihan, who was a professor at Harvard and then later on India's ambassador here. And he's told me this, and then he showed me the book also. So therefore, we have we even U2 flights which the Pakistanis had stopped because one plane got shot. From Orissa we sent it. Biju Patnaik himself told me that we have been flying U2 flights from India to China. So we became a cat's paw for the Americans. And then when the Chinese made a massacre of our forward forces, poor chaps, they fought very valiantly. But how can you fight with tennis shoes in freezing temperature? And that Henderson Brooks report is still not been declassified. I nearly got it declassified with Parikar. But then Jet Li came and said, no, it will hurt the sentiments of the Congress. So it should not be released. So therefore, I am saying we are people who have enormous capacity. Can you hear me?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
We have enormous capacity to tremendous capacity. After all, the Islam conquered Iran in 15 years, made them all 100% Muslim, made Mesopotamia, Babylon as 100% Muslim in 17 years, Egypt in 21 years, Europe in 50 years became Christian. But this country, 600 years of Muslim rule, 200 years of Christian rule, and we are still 82% Hindu. This resilience of the Hindu has to be tapped and given a goal. Grow for 10% per year, per 10 years, then we will get everything back from the Chinese, either by persuasion or by fighting.
Okay. So because as you said, hypocrisy was height. Then he went on to claim that the opposition was just raising issues like this in China so to embarrass the government. Anti-Chinese propaganda.
That is being said.
And it just continued. That same nonsense continued throughout 60 years of this rule with Congress. It's just pathetic that they kept on buckling to China. And here we are now trying to deal with them.
Well, we're having a bit of that now also. If you say anything, what were you doing? Why did you allow China to come so deep into India? Oh, you're creating propaganda against the government.
No, Dr. Swamy, what do you do? Here right now, we see the bureaucrats are making the decisions and not the army. You give that control back to the army.
Army was not allowed to do anything. I know because 2 army people have complained to me.
Just let the bureaucrats get out of the way and let the army deal with it. They know how to deal.
Bureaucrats are all been prepared by UPA. They are not our bureaucrats.
Yeah, absolutely. Kick them out. They don't need to make decisions like this in the border.
Tough call.
Okay, sir. No, but I just wanted to put my point. It's saying that's what happens when you have bureaucrats still running the government.